July 1947. As the world was healing from the wounds of World War II, the skies had become the stage for a new mystery: flying saucers. It was at this time that something fell in the desert near the town of Roswell, New Mexico, that would ignite the greatest conspiracy theory in history. The local Army airfield proudly announced at first that they had captured a flying disc. The news spread across the globe. But just 24 hours later, the military completely changed its story, declaring the wreckage was merely a conventional weather balloon. This sudden reversal was the beginning of a massive cover-up. What really crashed in the desert that night? What was the military hiding? And were the strange debris and the alleged alien bodies described by witnesses real? It all began when a ranch manager named W. Mac Brazel was checking his property on the morning after a severe thunderstorm. Brazel came across a debris field, scattered over an area nearly a mile wide, unlike anything he had ever seen. There were fragments of a metallic foil thin as paper, but incredibly strong, that would return to its original shape immediately after being crumpled. There were also small beams, as light as balsa wood, but unbreakable, inscribed with strange pinkish-purple geometric symbols, and there were thread-like materials as well. Brazel collected a few pieces and went to town to notify the sheriff. The sheriff, in turn, reported the situation to the Roswell Army Airfield. Major Jesse Marcel, the base's intelligence officer, personally drove to the ranch to inspect the debris. What Marcel saw amazed him as well. In statements he would make years later, he would say, "It was nothing from this world." Major Marcel took some of the debris back to the base. The next day, on July 8th, the base's public relations officer issued the famous press release that would go to newspapers around the world. RAF captures flying saucer. This was the first and only official UFO announcement from a government agency, but it only lasted for a few hours. As soon as the news broke, a strict order came from Washington. Major Marcel was ordered to fly with the debris to Fort Worth, Texas, to see General Roger Ramey. There, the real debris Marcel had brought was secretly swapped with the remains of a conventional weather balloon. General Ramey then held a press conference, showed the foil and rubber on the floor, and announced that the whole incident was a misunderstanding, and what was found was just a weather balloon. The initial flying saucer headlines were quickly replaced with weather balloon headlines, and the case was closed. The incident was forgotten for 30 years, until the late 1970s, when key witnesses began to speak. Major Jesse Marcel, now retired from the military, came forward and stated that the debris shown to the press was a sham, and that he still believed the real debris he found was of extraterrestrial origin. This opened Pandora's box. Other witnesses began to emerge. Glenn Dennis, who worked at a local mortuary, claimed he received a call from the base after the incident, asking if he had any small hermetically sealed caskets. Later, a nurse friend stationed at the base described to him in terror the autopsy of small, non-human bodies with large heads and big eyes that she had witnessed. General Ramey's own chief of staff said he personally witnessed the debris being swapped. Some soldiers even claimed to have seen a damaged disc and alien bodies recovered from it inside one of the base's hangars. Facing increasing public pressure, The U.S. Air Force published two detailed reports in the 1990s, claiming to put the Roswell mystery to rest. According to them, the wreckage was neither a weather balloon nor a spaceship. The truth was something else entirely. The debris belonged to a top-secret Cold War project called Project Mogul. Project Mogul aimed to acoustically detect Soviet nuclear bomb tests using high-altitude balloons. These balloon arrays carried radar-reflecting foils, lightweight balsa wood supports, and other sensitive equipment. To a rancher, these materials would have looked extremely strange and foreign. The Air Force admitted that they initially dismissed the incident as a simple weather balloon to protect the secrecy of the project. As for the alien bodies claims, they stated these were likely misremembered memories from high-altitude parachute tests conducted in the same area in later years, which used anthropomorphic crash test dummies. So, what really happened at Roswell? Was it the most significant event in history, skillfully covered up by the military? Or was it a legend spun out of control, created by a series of coincidences, misunderstandings, and Cold War paranoia? The military's Project Mogul explanation largely accounts for the physical properties of the debris. But it's also hard to completely ignore the consistent and persistent testimonies of dozens of witnesses, especially the confessions of high-ranking officers directly involved in the incident. Roswell has now become more of a symbol than an event, a symbol of distrust in governments and of that deep, unshakable hope that we are not alone in the universe.